Hello, welcome back to AG Engineering. I've got the one of the Norton heads on the mill. I've been setting this up on the angle plate here, and we're bolted flat to there. Obviously that puts us at 90 degrees that way, vertical from the head face. We're bolted through the centre bolt hole in the head and one of these 3/8 stud holes there, bolted down to the mill table. And for horizontal, the setup there is, I've got to just bring that in round the camera. I've got a little Wixie digital angle gauge there, and there we are within we're within 0.2 there, so we'll just check that on our surface. What we do with this is, if I bring you down, we reference to the surface we're on, so we'll just zero that out there, and then we'll put him up the top there. They are, we're within 0.1 of a degree there for horizontal. And we're happy with that. Set that out of the way. I've got to bore this to suit an oversized tap that I've got, which is over here. You may have seen this in earlier videos. There's our oversized 2 1/8 16 tap. I would have liked to have got a 14 TPI tap so we could have sort of the threads coinciding, but couldn't find one, so that's what we've got to use. I've actually got to turn that piece off there, that guide piece, just to make sure I get into the port okay, so I'll do that off camera. For that I need 52 millimeters, I think it was, bore wise. Yeah, about 52 we'll go for to start with. So I need to clean this up. As you can probably see, if I take you in closer, there's pretty much no thread remaining in there at all. Terrible state. The other side, I was thinking of rethreading that, but actually when you try an exhaust ring in it, it's okay, so I'm going to leave that one for now. We'll just concentrate on this one, and then when this is done, I've got another head for some port threads as well. This is like my own experimental one I bought off eBay to have a play with doing these exhaust ports in the first place. So it's all a bit of a test, and probably along the way I'll talk through various ways and means of doing this, different materials to use for the insert, etc. When we've got this cleaned up and threaded, I'll show you what I'm going to be using for this one. Let me get the boring bar set up and get us concentric. I've swept that in by eye, just running it sort of along the edge there and moving the table as we go. It's no good trying to do it with a dial test indicator or anything, because it's nothing like a straight surface. So what we should do is we'll start boring, and then I'll just tweak as necessary as we go along. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on the boring head there, just so I can just turn the adjustment a little bit at a time. Put a power on. Put some oil on a spindle. Spindle lock off, and we'll take a little ball, take speed down. And we'll just feed down and see what that looks like to start with. And that wants to go a little fraction towards the camera there, and come a little bit towards me. That's not bad. We'll just feed that down. And just checking as we go. And just on this initial cut, I'm just tweaking a little bit to get us centralised. and we'll just go down to the bottom there. So that cuts lovely. And then what we'll do is we'll just face off very, very slightly that bottom surface there, just to clean it up. We don't want to take too much off because we want to make sure that the exhaust tightens up properly when it's bolted down and the rings tightened in. Where we are, 52.06, just a smidgen over 52 there. Looking at this tap, I might just get away with going another ½ millimetre. I'm not measuring this very well, just trying to get in the top. 52.8 maybe. I'm going to go another probably 1/4 millimetre, something in that region. Just do it a little tiny bit more, because I'm starting with a bottoming tap. I haven't got a taper tap, so we want a reasonable lead to start with. .22, 52 1/4. We'll leave it at that and see how that starts. All I'm doing to clean the bottom off there is putting a little, taking it down till it's cleaned up on the inside. Just bring the camera in till it's cleaned up on the inside, and then putting a little bit of cut on and keep inching it that way a little bit slightly. I have got an automatic boring head, but for this little job it's not worth setting up. Right, that took a little while. There we have it, it's cleaned up. It took about 20 thou off the bottom part there. So I'll have a look at this tap and just whip that off, and then I'll get the tap set up ready for getting a thread into this recut port. I've got the tap resting on the top there. I just tried to take the that extension part off and I couldn't. It's proper high speed steel, this is. So we'll see if it causes a problem. If it does, I'll have to get the grinder out on it. I've got a centre in the back hole there, and we're resting squarely onto the thread. As I say, I'm trying to start with a plug tap, which isn't easy. This hasn't got a square on it, this one, it's just 2 flats. And I'm going to keep a bit of pressure on with the quill handle and just see if we get started. So what, I'm glad I'm not tapping steel. Look at what we're getting. Yeah, that's looking okay. I'm just going to plug the airline in. Keep the swarf nice and clear, or chips nice and clear. There we are so far. Or either at the bottom, or we've hit the port with that protrusion. And we're at the bottom. And there's our tap. So that's an eBay find, that one. I can't remember what it was now, something like 80 quid. So hopefully it's sufficient to give us an oversized thread for the inserts I'm making. If not, I've got a problem. I'll have to find an even bigger tap. Hopefully there's enough wall thickness in the thing. But there we are. We've got a recut thread into our port. So the next stage is to make the inserts. This is really just like the Norton head that I repaired the other day with the head steady thread. It's just a bigger scale, nothing more. A little bit more awkward. You need a little bit more kit to do it. Angle plate and a decent sized tap, and obviously a lathe to cut your inserts. But it's within the capabilities, I would think, of a reasonable machinist, reasonably well equipped workshop. Probably a little bit beyond your normal DIY, but not impossible. So let me just grab that bit of material I'm going to use to make me insert. Give me a moment. Right, I've got a couple of choices here. I've got some. I think it was 61. I think it was. I can't quite remember the grade now. 55mm OD, 5mm wall, so that's 45mm ID, aluminium alloy tube there, which is pretty much pretty much bob on for a Norton exhaust ring to thread the inside of that, and there's our internal thread, or will be, and it should be about right for our camera for our external thread as well. So that is one option I've got, and I think that's the option I'm going to go with on this head this time. I have got some aluminium bronze there as well. Now again, good option. On this head I think, to be honest, it'd be a waste, because there's some other issues with this one as well, but again, that's the right sort of size for doing this job with. So I'll come back to you in a while, and so I'll come back to you in a little while, and we'll get over to the lathe and we'll do our insert. So I'm going for some tea now. It's getting a bit cold again, so I think I'm going in as well. So see you when I pick this one up. Bye for now.